Hi, folks. Hope you are okay. I want to talk about the issue of the Third World War that the drum beats are going now at the moment. It's been going on for quite a long time about there's going to be a Third World War. I want to give my opinion of what I think about the situation. I'm going to play this video. It's and I like these guys, and we're going to just listen to a bit of what they say.
They're not going to be sending young women out there.
No.
They're not. It's what he's saying is.
No, I imagine the daughters will become very traditional all of a sudden.
Yeah, they will. He's just outright saying we have to be prepared to sacrifice 1 million of our sons. And now, when I say it's going to be overwhelmingly white British sons who are dying, let me play you a few clips that kind of illustrate my point. And there's loads of these you'll find on social media. Samson, do you want to play this video for us? Right.
What the hell's a Marjay?
I have no idea.
It's some urban slang. But this is one point that is to be made, that if war were to break out, the diversity would flee Britain's shores like that.
If you think that they even attempt to sign them up,
they might not. They might even make them exempt.
Yeah, I mean, everything has gone against the young white men of this country. So I don't see why this would necessarily be anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I just haven't heard the point. I'll play another one.
UK was to go to war, would you join the military?
No, I'm not from the country, so no.
First of all, I'm not a UK citizen. I'm an immigrant.
I'm Welsh.
Welsh?
Sound running ability to manufacture things. All of those drones being deployed in Ukraine are coming out of China. And we just spent the last 30 years building them up. So we want to go to war in Russia. We want to send our boys into a bloody Russian winter backed by China, who can churn out drones at least 20 to 30 to 1 at the rate that we can, so that they can face this. That's what this talk actually leads to. It's our boys coming back looking like that if they come back at all.
So they can face that after spending the first few decades of their life being made second-class citizens in their own home, disinherited from every birthright that should have been theirs.
I think this is a good moment to point out that there's no way in hell that I would ever fight for the country as it is.
No, I'd certainly get thrown in jail.
Yeah. At the very least. Our enemies are in Westminster. They're not abroad. There's no way that people would do this with the way the country is at the minute.
But I'm just saying to the audience, if you know any of these idiots who are getting gun-ho, and I bet you these idiots, they're like Julie Hartley-Brewer, they know they're not going to go themselves. That's what's going to happen to our young boys. We send them into this situation.
If they're lucky.
Into this drone warfare, where the Russians have had the last 4 years to perfect this. Yeah. The Chinese have had the last 4 years to perfect these drones, and they can churn them out at a significantly higher rate than us. And the other thing that I was thinking of, I don't want to overstress my point or anything, but if anyone is familiar with the law of 40K, Battle of Isfahan 3. Now our elite, they know all about us. They know which of us are compliant. They monitor our social media. They know which of us got jabbed or not. Is it really a stretch to think that they have identified which of us are the most problematic, and they'll be sticking us in the bits that they want to get rid of? Wouldn't surprise me entirely. No. And what's going to be waiting? Why are we doing this? As Morgoth dryly notes here, this issue is surely to boost those recruitment numbers. Foreign criminals, the Telegraph reports, and illegal immigrants are to receive Gold Star NHS dental services, despite three-quarters of UK adults not having access to similar treatment. And as Morgoth points out, every young English lad can't wait to face the Russians to defend an immigrant Gold Star dental plan that he can't get himself.
You're telling me, man.
And every day, there's another story like that.
Oh, it's not just the dental plan. Yeah,
no, it's just every day.
Absolutely, absolutely everything. Let's just remind ourselves of what the bloody RAF said. The RAF, they finally got in trouble for, their diversity targets. What did they say? When people try to join the RAF, they were told they didn't want useless white males.
RAF wouldn't exist without the white males.
No.
And this is the thing. When piloting a fast jet was a prestige job, but you didn't face much prospect of actually being sent anywhere to die.
Yeah.
White men are useless white men.
Wow.
The moment it looks like we might actually be needed to sacrifice 1 million bodies, suddenly they want the white men.
I know it's crazy,
Spin your
man.
passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best.
Yep.
Easy, man.
And what's going to be happening when you're away? This is again. I just picked this pretty much at random for my feed. I could have picked any other day. I could have picked another story, but I picked this one. This German guy. He describes how an Arab man grabbed his 12-year-old little sister at a gas station and tried to run off with her, and luckily he was there. And he was able to get her back. But of course, if this all goes through, because this conscription narrative, it isn't just coming to the UK, it's coming to basically everywhere in Europe simultaneously. They all went out. The Germans, all of them. They all went out to their population and said, "Yeah, we're going to be doing this conscription." And that 12-year-old girl would have been dragged away if this.
So let's talk about this. We've had a government. Our government has been gaslighting us for weeks and months now. They're not interested in our rights. You can't get a dentist appointment. You got to wait months. We got veterans who are homeless, and yet we got immigrants who are put up in hotels to get money, and they can see the dentist, and yet we can't see the dentist. We can't even get a proper doctor's appointment like we used to. Pensioners are taxed. Businesses are taxed. And when I mean taxed, I mean hammered. Farmers are hammered. Young people can't get on the property ladder. On top of that, where people get arrested for tweeting, if you get burgled, nobody comes out, no police come out. But if you say something against the government or you say something against a group that the woke brigade don't want you to say anything, you can be arrested by the police just for a tweet. They want to continue this war with Russia, and people's taxes being sent to pay for that when nobody's voted on it. Ukraine has not had an election for over 5 years. It's not a democracy anymore. There's no religious freedom there. The Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, has been banned in Ukraine. Billions have been poured into Ukraine and been siphoned off. It's known as the biggest cesspit of corruption in Europe. So they want us to go and fight for our country. When we go, we're going to have immigrants taking our wives, taking our children. This is insanity upon insanity. I'd say to any soldier in the British Army, come out of the British Army right now. Do not go in. And if they conscript you, do not go into the army, because you'll be coming back in a body bag fighting for a globalist war. It's their war. Let them send their daughters. Let them send their young people. Let the bank managers and the politicians and the globalists that want this war, let them send their families to war. Why should you go? Why should your children grow? Why should your daughter go? Why should your son go and fight a meaningless, pointless globalist war? They'll come back in body bags. This is insanity upon insanity. And as they've said in this commentary here, our enemy is not Putin. Our enemy is the British establishment. The British establishment are doing everything they can to destroy our country. They are duplicitous in destroying us. They are actively involved in a PSYOP civil war in destroying our country right now. That is the Prime Minister, Parliament, much of the media, and these elites who are involved in influencing our government. They are actively involved in a PSYOP in destroying us as the British people and destroying Europe. And it's time we all woke up that there's already been going on in Britain a civil war. The civil war has already been going on in Britain for a long time now. Even since the days of Tony Blair, that's when the civil war was started to move. If you don't believe me, We have a two-tier policing system. We have a judicial system that is not fit for purpose, that is politicized. We have hate crime laws that are politicized. We trial by jury is being weakened, and I could go on and on and on. The regulatory apparatus for taxing now for businesses is getting beyond a joke. It's not only the amount you have to pay, but you have to fill in your forms sometime next year. You've got to start and do it 4 times a year where it used to be once. That is significant. That is a significant move in British culture. That is going to strangle small businesses. It's going to decimate them. They want to decimate the farmers. This is nothing but a carte blanche revolution that has been put upon us in Britain. And it is a desire to control us and manipulate us, and so that we become subservient. Everything that we've ever known is vanishing before our eyes. Everything that we ever knew in British culture and life is vanishing faster than a vapor. And it's not an accident. This is active active covert military operation that is going on right now in the UK by the British government, by the armed force, by the top brass in the army, the top brass in MI5, counterterrorism, on our own people. There's already a psyop military war going on upon our people. Thanks, John McDropper. I'll say it again. Britain has been in civil war since Tony Blair. Tony Blair had it in for Britain. Tony Blair prepared the ground for destroying Britain, allowing mass immigration, destroying the civil service. John McDropper, God bless you, brother. It's good to see you, mate. I'll say it again. We are already in a civil war in Britain. Our British government, the MPs, the top brass in the British Army, the very top brass, not the junior military, not the soldiers on the ground. The vast majority of British soldiers are with us and are not do not want to be going to war on behalf of Starmer. They don't. I've had news and I've heard news from multiple soldiers in the British Army. They do not agree with the way things are going. But our top brass in the British Army, the MI5 and the British government, and to some extent the king at some point, and sad to say, I think he's been captured by Davos. But we are in a military psyop. Everything is being prepared so that our country is destroyed. Tennessee, God bless you. Darryl, God bless you. John McDropper. No, but John, you don't understand. It's planned, brother. It's purposely planned to destroy nation states, so we become some kind of one conglomerate people, a super people that you can manipulate and control. This is not high in the. Okay, Darryl, God bless you, bro. We have to face. Look, if Trump would have not gotten in power in America, we'd have been in a third world war, fully third world war by Biden, faster than you could have said diddly squat. America was about to get finished When Trump come in, it was a spanner in the works. But Britain, as there is a psyop civil war going on in Britain right now. The undermining, it's a revolution, a kind of pseudo-communist revolution that's already being undertaken right now. And it's not, politics is not going to solve it. Being political is not going to solve this. Politics is not going to solve this. They are not going to stop. They're going to continue this cabal. They want to grift with the war with Putin, which is absolute madness. Think about it. Putin has nuclear weapons. Europe has nuclear weapons. America has nuclear weapons. Think about the stupidity of having a war with Putin. It is stupidity upon stupidity upon stupidity. And the only thing will happen is British soldiers coming back in body bags. And not only that, you are endangering the whole situation. If one country allows a nuclear bomb in Europe, or if Russia sends a nuclear bomb, just one, the whole thing will explode. So this is madness. We don't have any adults in the room. We don't have any politicians with half a brain cell. If you have half a brain cell, do not engage in warfare. If people have nuclear weapons, get down on the table and discuss it. It's simple. Diplomacy is the only way you can go when you've got two nuclear powers at each other's throat. But for the Europe to have this mantra, we're going to have conscription, we're all going to go and fight. Your daughters and sons, get ready, they're going to fight. They're going to fight for what? For governments that have allowed mass immigration, for governments that have destroyed their own countries within, governments that have bankrupt their own countries because you poured all your money into Ukraine, which is a cesspit of corruption anyway. Yeah, but my dropout, bro. But you got to understand my dropout. If anybody... So, why am I doing this video? I'm doing this video is, if you are a young person, do not get conscripted because you're going to your death. You're going to be fighting for a country that is trying to destroy you. A country that doesn't believe in you. A country that doesn't want to give you a future. You can't, as a young person, get on the property ladder in Britain today. If you're a veteran, be careful, because you might be taken to court. Starmer's government has allowed laws so that the SAS can be taken to court for what happened in Northern Ireland. So what's the point in going off to battle? You might be coming back to a court martial. They don't believe in you. They don't want it. They don't believe in the country, and they don't believe in you. We have veterans who are homeless, and yet you can come on to this country and you can go into a hotel and get everything you want. It's madness. It's madness. But they are involved in a systematic civil war already in this country. The media and the politicians and the top brass in the army, they are snakes, and they are waging a war against their own people. What kind of general can you be? You must be the weakest generals in British history. You are spineless. You are pathetic. Instead of flexing your muscles against Starmer and saying you're worried about the way Starmer is and this controlling government that just wants to control everything. Instead of doing that, you spineless cowards are telling parents in Britain, prepare for war. Your daughters and sons may have to fight. You are spineless cowards. Pathetic, spineless cowards. And every one of you generals who agree with the general that was speaking that way, you need to resign. You don't deserve to be generals in the British Army. You certainly don't deserve to be leading the valiant men and women on the ground who would be willing to sacrifice their life. The same for the RAF and the same for the Navy. So we have children at the helm. We lack adults. We lack adults in the room. We have globalists that have no plan. They have a pseudo plan. It messed up. It failed. And so now they're backpedaling and doing their best to create more friction, more drama, more crisis in order to keep control. When there is a third world war, we won't see elections. Oh, by the way, haven't we seen council elections being cancelled in the UK? Mayor elections, local elections, even the main election is being put back. And that's what we'll see. We'll see a third world war. Elections will be totally cancelled. We'll see people coming back in body bags. And our future will be bleak. Let's continue.
Chap here had been deployed to the front line.
Yeah.
What else is going to be happening when you're away? This is going to continue.
Sound of the third world right there.
Well, that's not going to stop. That's not even going to slow down.
No.
When all the white British boys are sent abroad.
The thing is as well, right, for the longest time, I thought about just what the elites are doing to us. And, you know, you just think back to like Rome and the Roman Republic. And it's like, okay, well, you know, back then, how did the majority, how did the ordinary everyday people, how were they able to manipulate their elites into doing what the plebs wanted to? You know, and in the early, you know, decades of Rome, that you'd have the secession of the plebs where they just leave and be like, no, you need us in order for just everything to function. And they just go and sit on the hill and wait for the elites to go, all right, we'll give you some concessions. And I thought, well, why don't we just do all that in this country? But it wouldn't have worked because actually there was nothing, you know, manufacturing, just everything, you know, nursing, dental care, all of it, just the bus drivers.
They lived off the land then.
They just replace you. If you just back out, they just replace you with these people.
Oh, they're going to replace us anyway. It's just a question of the speed they're doing it.
Right, but the thing is, this war is the one time that they can't replace us.
Because these guys, they're going to be getting their gold star dental plan and their way with your 12-year-old sister when you're gone. You know, they're going to be getting all the perks while you're gone.
And you're going to get droned.
The shocking map of Britain reveals the true scale of the sex crimes by illegal migrants. Right. The only reason that these maps aren't worse than they are is because there's still enough white British men here to stop it. Once they're all packed off and those boats keep flowing, you know, what exactly do we think is going to happen here? And I'm just going to say, I'm just absolutely furious about this.
Yeah.
This is a betrayal beyond any level of betrayal that we've seen so far, and we've had a lot of it. And I'm telling you, if you're a young man who gets faced with this in a year or two, don't go.
No.
Just tell them, fine, put me in prison.
Yeah.
Just do that.
At least you'll live, and you're not fighting for a country that hates you, wants you replaced, wants you basically dead.
If they want to conscript anyone, it should be the older generations. You know, the support for the Ukraine war
with the Ukraine flags.
Yeah. The support for the Ukraine war is highest amongst the boomers. So send them.
I'm not going to lie. I use Grammarly.
Crazy. Just a shout out here. There's a link under the video, but I'll just show you. I put this out. This is my wife. And if you can go to the link underneath the video and you can read about me and my wife and the challenge that we're facing. Thank you.
Least amount of hours.
I don't think it'll work, but just find everybody who's put a Ukraine flag up in their garden, who nods along to Julie Hartley Brewer on the radio, or has a Ukraine flag in their bio. Pick them, send them off. But I mean that won't work because I can tell you, I'm only 46, and I watched this thing on Netflix the other day about Marine boot camp. Turned out to be a queer coming of age story because it was on Netflix. I don't know why, but anyway. So I was watching this thing, and they do a thing where it's 3 a.m. The drill sergeant comes in, he shouts, and all the guys, they leap out of bed, they stand to attention. I'm just thinking, bloody hell! Can you imagine if they did that with a bunch of 46-year-olds? I mean, the drill sergeant would be there for a while before people woke up. And then they'd be clambering out of bed and stretching their backs. I mean, and then he would get angry and demand they do push-ups. I mean, I might do the first 20, but I'm doing the rest of my knees after that. And if he wants to yell at me, I'm just not going to be intimidated by.
And it won't be the woke middle class kids that'll be going to fight. It'll be the white working class kids. Because the woke kids won't go. They won't get enlisted. They don't believe in anything anymore.
Some 29-year-old drill instructor. I'm just going to be like...
But from the narcissistic selves.
I'll go away.
Let's not forget as well that the army have just recently gotten rid of...
I'm not well, so forgive me.
Of most of the red tape restricting people with AIDS and HIV from joining the military as well. Again, because of the absolutely shambolic recruitment numbers. So they are just plucking them from absolutely
the police abolished the requirement that you don't have a criminal record.
Yeah.
And the security services, MI6 and MI5, have abolished the requirement that you have at least one British parent.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
But they do need white men when they want to send them into a Russian winter.
Yep.
I mean, which led to this Gunther.
Yeah, I saw this.
Jan chap, who's some EU apparatchik. He put out, what do you prefer, World War III or Europeans under the slavery of Putin? And everybody said, yeah, we take the Putin option. Thank you very much. What difference does it make to me that I walk down Regent Street and instead of seeing pride flags the whole way down, I see Russian flags? I mean, okay.
I mean,
I imagine that Russian boots on the ground would probably protect your daughters better as well.
Yes.
Than what the British state currently does.
I mean, it'd be like being a
It's rather right what they're saying, all these guys.
Slave and exchanging masters, really.
Yeah.
At worst, because in Britain we are treated like slaves. We're tax cattle that exist only to prop up the managerial class.
The only difference is the reason I'd probably prefer being Putin's slave than gay race communist slave is because Putin's is a masculine regime, and that means you know where the lines are. You know if you criticize Putin, you're going to get a knock on the door. I don't know what's going to trigger my knock at the door.
It's
We'll
true.
have a couple of female police officers turn up, and actually we had this from was it Northern Variant? The guy who came in a little while ago. He had a 3 a.m. visit from the police for something he tweeted. They wouldn't tell him what. You've tweeted something. We're not going to tell you what.
Yeah.
And that's going to get you a 3 a.m. police visit. We're going to knock on your door. We're going to force our way in. We're going to take all your electronic devices. We're going to take you down to the police station. We're not going to tell you why, though.
It's literally Kafkaesque.
Yes.
Like you've been arrested and you don't even know why you've been arrested.
Wow, that's great. Let's see how our country's come. It's nightmare.
At least if we were living under Putin's regime, I would probably know where the lines are, and I could be like, okay, fair enough. At least I know where I am now.
It's just
Can't do that under the current regime.
Yeah, it's more honest. You just know where you are.
Yeah, bit of Julie Hartley Brewer.
Do we have to?
Disgusting creature, but fine. We listen to what she has to say. Yeah, and just look at the end. At the end of this video, I just want you to notice how giddy with excitement she is at the prospect of this war.
in France. We know in Finland, or actually lots of other countries around Europe are now moving to this way. Do we need to actually, actually have a national service of some kind? We need to get our young people trained up, ready. So if and when they are called to arms, because a lot of people just say we're both warmongers.
At the end, we will fit your LTP, which stands for long-term prostheses. Again, we don't.
Well, yeah, I quite agree. I think we need.
I hope he's agreeing to the bit about.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, because they are.
We need to have plans for it. We don't need it now. The strategic reserve, the veterans, they're all keen to get involved. Absolutely. We have to look at our European, people like the Finns and the Swedes. Where they do, everybody is trained and they can put a lot of people on the ground, but they're a lot closer to the threat than we are. I think we just need plans, because if it all does go badly, and the worst case scenario that we do.
I'll quickly point out, I have never in my lifetime seen the government draw up a set of plans that they didn't then act upon.
Do get involved in a conflict in Europe, then yeah, I'm afraid we'll all be involved. So we need plans rather than just trying to ignore it, that we have done since the end of the Cold War.
And we have been ignoring it. Our politicians have been ignoring it. But one of the reasons they've done that is because it's quite convenient not to have to spend a huge chunk of our national income on defence and spending it on, nurses or free this.
Oh, it's crazy, man. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare we're in, that we got journalists like this talking this national absolute madness. You cannot go to war. If you are nuclear powers, you cannot go to war. It's just madness. You have to use diplomacy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Free that, a bit more welfare, everybody. That's what people prefer, isn't it?
Well, one can see, and certainly I'm sure the present government would say that's what they were voted in on. But unfortunately, the situation is rapidly changing. And if we spend all the money, all the government money on welfare and other things, then we will not have a defence to be able to carry on in the way that people would like to live in this country.
I'm wondering if we could solve a lot of this with, hey, no more welfare for anyone under the age of 30. You're joining the military. That might focus minds in lots of different ways, eh?
Quivering with anticipation. What did that come from? For this, basically. Again,
yeah,
it's been 80 years since we've had an army of white boys killing another army of white boys. Let's do it again.
Oh, they love it.
They do. They love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get it going again. And I just want to say to the British elite, fuck you. Absolutely fuck you. This is beyond.
Sorry the language, but we can't encourage people to go to war, and what they're saying, even though it's not good language, it's right what they're saying.
Anything that you've looked at doing before. And I think the burden really falls upon, first of all, young men don't go along with this. Secondly, to the 40 and 50-year-old dads, if they try and do this, we have to go down to Westminster and we have to tackle the real enemy, because this is completely and utterly unacceptable. It's just ethnic replacement for globalist fantasies, and I'm not letting them do it again. Not.
No.
Anyway, rant over.
No. Well said, Dan.
Well said.
All right. Jump to, I'll go through these. Luke 91 says, on the bright side, any survivors coming back will no longer have the sensibilities, but are bloodlust. So, I don't think anyone would have the energy after that. Sigil Stone says, can't have a secession of the plebs when the elites are trying to get rid of you. That's what they want. Yeah, exactly. Hence the point I was trying to make. Exiles29 says, this is what I was saying about national unity before. It's pointless asking people to defend our heritage and culture if they're here to subvert it. Luke also says, if they're trying to pull this you're going to get an armed revolt and a new government. Don't mean it in a Fed posty way. He's just saying that is naturally what will happen if they try and force the issue. He also says, I'm sorry, conscription isn't going to work nowadays. The young generation are pissed off, and you're arming them and teaching them how to use them. You might as well surrender and hand the reins to them. All right.
Yeah, there's anything with that. And and let's say they do pull it off. Let's say they manage to send 4 or 5 million young white British men off to conflict, and
and they beat Russia in the way that Hitler or Napoleon never could.
Well, first of all, history has told us you don't win.
Yeah,
invading Russia.
Second time's the charm, I guess.
I
don't
know,
know.
when less than 1 million when 1 million less than the 5 million. So when 4 million of them come back and they're completely inured to violence, what are they going to do? When they get back and they hear the stories about their sisters and their daughters being raped while they were away, and the government who sent them out. How long does the government really think it's going to last?
It's basically arming its own replacement there, isn't it? That's why I don't think that they're going to go through this sort of thing, is that one, they won't be able to get away with it, and two, if they do, they'll be sowing the seeds of their own destruction, and they can't be so naive as to not see that, right?
It seems to me that their destruction, or their fall, their decline, is kind of a foregone conclusion at this point. They're losing power more and more every single day. The question is, how many more of us, just regular people, regular Europeans, are going to get hurt and dragged down with them along the way?
It need not be any. If we do,
well, I know, and that's all of this is just one massive unforced error.
As an owner of Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I know how to make slick-looking goggle/glasses. But
sorry, I've not been well for the last couple of days. Well, listen to this lady here, and I'll give you my comments. So this is
inside MI6. This iconic building, familiar to movie fans everywhere, is...
So this is the new MI6 chief, okay? So let's see what she has to say.
the home of Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service. But whilst hundreds of my team pass through the entry pods every day, the truth is that most of our work happens many miles away from this place, out of sight, hidden from the world, undercover, recruiting and running agents who choose to place their trust in us, sharing secrets to make the UK and the world safer. You might pass one of our officers on the streets or sit next to them on a plane when you're about to set off on an adventure of your own, or in a foreign city taking selfies by the sights. Whether it's in seemingly everyday places or on the front line embedded with our military, MI6 is there. In my first few weeks, I've heard repeatedly that MI6 is trusted and respected globally, two things that we never take for granted. We are seen as a source of hard power, soft influence, and rapid innovation. I've also heard that people want to believe in MI6. It's my job to make sure they can. Today, I want to talk about human agency. We all have choices to make about how we deal with the undercurrents shaping our world, about how in our new, faster, more dangerous and technology-mediated world, it will be our rediscovery of our shared humanity, our ability to listen, and our courage that will determine how our future unfolds. Conflict is not inevitable. Understanding human nature is in my bones. From a family shaped by devastating conflict, I grew up with a deep sense of gratitude for the UK's precious democracy and freedom. I spent much of my childhood overseas, which is where my passion for travel and adventure began. I studied anthropology and later psychology and AI.
Right. What's this got to do with preparing people for Third World War? It's not a huggy fest. We all hug one another and we learn about each other's lives. You're talking about bringing people to Third World War. So what you need to be doing is putting facts on the table. Hard, brute facts. And this is what this lady has not done. And to be honest, she's a DEI. You know, in terms of being the head of MI6, it should be a much older person, much more experienced. But because she's a woman, it's DI. She's not given any she's not given any facts at all to present before us. And this talk is an absolute disgrace. And you know why it's a disgrace? Because right at this time when she was talking, there was discussions with Trump, Zelensky, and the European leaders. Trump, I think it was on the screen, but he had some of his guys there at the meeting, and they were talking about a peace deal with Putin, and they're trying to sort that out. And at the same time that's going on, you have her making this statement, which is an absolute disgrace. If you're trying to get peace, why are you telling the country, MI6, telling the country you got to prepare for war? That doesn't mean tell me that you're a sincere person in wanting to seek peace. This is a joke. God bless you, John.
Exploring how we make sense of the world and each other. It's why I was drawn to MI6. It offers strong purpose, a chance to serve, and a belief in the positive power of human connection. Like the service, I am operational to my very core. Over nearly 3 decades, my career has involved recruiting and running agents in hostile territory and leading operations in war zones to diffuse threats and support peace. Always in teams, always learning from others. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of brilliant partners, and indeed occasionally those we'd label as
Okay, but you're giving a talk about Third World War, so give us some facts.
A shift is happening. Online education is entering a new era that mirrors how students actually
that will determine how our future unfolds. Conflict is not inevitable.
A shift is happening. Online education is entering a new era that mirrors how students.
Understanding human nature is in my bones. From a family shaped by devastating conflict.
We're 25 minutes in and all it is about a family and what she's done. And you were given a talk about Third World War. And you've not given, I've watched this. She didn't give any facts. There's no facts in this video.
The algorithms flatter our biases and fracture our public squares. And as trust collapses, so does our shared sense of truth, one of the greatest losses a society can suffer.
You've been involved in disseminating falsehood. You've been involved in a psyop against the British people. You're involved in sending people into crowds and involved in causing riots and then blaming it on the patriots. You're involved in manipulating the media so that they speak in one mouth on certain issues, like you did with COVID-19. You're involved in censorship as the MI5. So don't talk about truth. Don't talk about truth.
The defining challenge of the 21st century is not simply who wields the most powerful technologies, but who guides them with the greatest wisdom. Our security, our prosperity, and our humanity depend on it. Our world is being remade, and for the first time, we are all at the heart of it. My service must now operate in this new context too, not just expert on hostile states, terrorism, proliferation and more, but also fluent in technology, able to anticipate the second and third order effects of advances that reshape the world in minutes, not months. And as China will be a central part of the global transformation taking place this century, it's essential that we, as MI6, continue to inform the government's understanding of China's rise.
Let me tell you something. The MI6, FBI, the CIA, it's well known they are all compromised institutions. They have been compromised for years. Where has been the compromise? Let me tell you, the drug cartels in South America have been able to infiltrate Americans' elections, been able to put many politicians in their pocket, and many activists in the CIA and FBI. And that ripple effect in America has not gone unnoticed in MI6. MI6 is also compromised.
And the implications for UK national security. I'm going to break with tradition, and I won't give you a global threat tour, but I will focus here on Putin's Russia. We all continue to face the menace of an aggressive, expansionist, and revisionist Russia seeking to subjugate Ukraine and harass NATO. I find it harrowing that hundreds of thousands have died, with the toll mounting every day because of Putin's historical distortions and his compromised desire for respect.
Wait a minute. Who organized the coup in Ukraine? Who organized the coup in Ukraine? MI6. Who organized the coup to get Zelensky in power? MI6. Who? Wasn't Putin, it was you with American backing. You're talking rubbish.
He is dragging out negotiations and shifting the cost of war onto his own population. But Putin should be in no doubt. Our support is enduring. The pressure we apply on Ukraine's behalf will be sustained. Because it is fundamental not just to European sovereignty and security, but to global stability. Alongside the grinding war, Russia is...
There was two peace deals on the table. One peace deal was signed by European governments and Putin, but Boris Johnson was sent by the globalist elites to kibosh that peace deal. Okay, the British and the Americans, the Canadians and other Western powers, for like 15 years before Putin invaded the Donbass, before he went into Crimea, you were arming and training the Ukrainians while you organized a coup. And you're talking like this?
Testing us in the grey zone with tactics that are just below the threshold of war.
No facts. She's not given any specific facts, no detail. You're going to want to start us into a third world war. You're saying is this, that, and the other. Just give us a little bit of facts. Give us a detail. Said this ship was attacked by Russia. British ship was attacked by Russia. This plane fired a missile at Britain by Russia. Give us some specific detailed facts. You can't give us. And you want to send us on a quest for a third world war?
It's important to understand their attempts to bully, fearmonger, and manipulate because it affects us all. I'm talking about cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, drones buzzing, airports and bases, aggressive activity in our seas above and below the waves, state-sponsored arson and sabotage, propaganda.
You've not proved a point. You've not proved anything. You're not giving any evidence. It's all accusation, but no evidence. You're not giving any specific detail. And you want to go to war with the nuclear power and that nuclear weapons. This is insanity. You might sound competent, but you're incompetent and you're a political stooge being manipulated by the powers that be. You were giving this talk at the same time Trump was trying to organize a peace deal. The same time he's trying to organize a peace deal, you're there speaking. So you have zero credibility. If you had any credibility, you would have given this talk after Trump's discussion with Putin and the global and the European powers, after they have finished their discussions, which are still going. And you should have just kept quiet rather than using this opportunity as a platform to encourage Third World War. And just to show how foolish you are, you're doing it. We don't see Starmer doing it. You're doing their business and you're not thinking it through.
And influence operations that crack open and exploit fractures within societies. Countering this activity is the work of intelligence and security services across Europe and the globe. And as the Foreign Secretary made clear in a speech last week, the UK is defending itself against this Russian information warfare, sanctioning Russian media outlets pushing Kremlin narratives.
Interesting. Such detail.
True master.
The export of...
Thing is, more people are arrested in the UK for tweets than they are in Russia. You can put something on Twitter and be arrested in UK faster than you can say diddly squat. There are thousands have been arrested last year for tweeting, for Facebook posts, far more than Russia. So who is the people of freedom here?
Chaos is a feature, not a bug, in this Russian approach to international engagement, and we should be ready. The UK government has invested in our intelligence agencies, and we are all using human skills, and threat-infused world now generates more heroes win over darkness.
I don't believe her. She sounds credible, but she's not. She's not credible. If you go under the video here, if you want to support me and Dorcas, you can see this here, and you want to encourage us, you find out details there. It's underneath the video if you want to help us. John, let me just tell you something. Let me just give you a little thought here, brother. It's a psyop, brother. You've got to understand, these people work in tandem. They work together. In Germany, they only recently they put up the conscription, so you have to join the army, right? They're doing it in France, right? European powers announcing that they got to get ready for the Third World War. We just had the head of the British Army. We've had the head of the RAF all mentioning we have to get ready for the Third World War. And then she's done it. She's mentioned it. So the media have been pumping this out. So you got to understand. You got to go and read the thing underneath the video, John, to find out the answer to your question, bro. That's what it's about. We go underneath. So yeah, so there we are. So if anybody wants to come on and talk for a minute. If anybody wants to come on, you might not want to come on. John, love you, man. Miss you, mate. Hope you're okay. You've got a great mind, by the way. Got a great mind. That's the link. I put the link out anyway if you want to come on. If anybody wants to come on and mention that. So I think we're see, this has been going on for 2 months now. It's been going on for 2 months, this couple of months that are. So like this is 2 months ago. So they've been saying this, trying to brainwash us for months now on this issue.
Whether we are already in the first stages of a World War III. But no, we're not. A World War III will be a global conflict, and we're nowhere near that at all at the moment. However, we are very much in the beginning of a militarized conflict in Europe. And so the possibility of a European war is becoming greater all the time. And Eliza Manningham-Buller, the previous director of MI5, said she was inclined to agree with those who said that Russia has already declared war on us in a hybrid capacity. The idea that we're already involved in confrontation with Russia is based on a series of air incursions recently. So first of all, 19 drones into Polish airspace, then a drone into Romanian airspace, then very seriously, 3 MiG-31 fighters in Estonian airspace, and then a series of drone irregularities over Denmark, which have been closing airports in Denmark and in Oslo, in Norway. This pattern of incursion is going on, and it comes on top of several other things as well, such as hovering above our pipelines and our internet cables, muffing them out, evidence that the Russians are trying to recruit young people in order to commit acts of sabotage. The Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said that all of this was hybrid sub-threshold warfare, and both of those phrases are really important.
De fortsætter deres angreb, også selvom der er nogen, der tror på en fredelig løsning. Og vi ser altså en række hybride angreb, cyberangreb, sabotage, forsøg på sabotage fra russisk side.
Hybrid means that it covers everything, every aspect of government, from social media through the funding of groups and political parties abroad, through what the Navy does, what the Air Force does, what the Army is doing. The Russians use every aspect of their government to undermine, as they see it, the West European body politic. And it's sub-threshold because they go right up to the point of organized violence and then stop. So it's not actually violent, except in the case of some assassination attempts and sabotage attempts. But this hybrid sub-threshold campaign has been building up over 10 years. And since the beginning of this phase of the Ukrainian war in 2022, it's built right up. And now it's bigger than it has ever been in the last 80 years. At the moment, all of this seems as if the Russians are setting the agenda, and it's all very one-sided. But Western politicians are saying increasingly now that we will respond.
Make no mistake, if we need to confront planes in NATO airspace without permission, then we will do so.
That raises the question, are we on the verge of a general European war? No, we're not. Not necessarily in the next 5 or 10 years, but we are very much on the verge of a military confrontation with Russia of some sort in the next 2 to 3 years.
Tesco Finest 30-day matured sirloin wing rib and Tesco Finest.
So did you hear the double speak there? Absolute nonsense, you know, crazy. Anyhow, folks, I'm going to go. I love you all. If you got any questions or thoughts, let me know. John, it's still not full of detail. There was no, as far as I'm concerned, there was no solid evidence there in that clip. And it's there's other stuff going on the other side as well. Who knocked out Nord Stream? Who did that, bro? Yeah, I think if I'm feeling a lot better, if I continue to feel like this, and yeah, hopefully we'll do Speaker's Corner live tomorrow, maybe about 8 o'clock. If I continue to be a lot better, but this cold might flare up at night. I tend to start coughing at night. So, all right, folks. John, thank you. Teddy, Passed Out Hank friends, thank you for coming, everybody. God bless you, and love to everybody out there, and may God be with you all. All right, love you all, and take care now. God bless you. If I'm feeling better, yeah, I'll preach over Christmas, but I've got to sort this out, you know. All right, take care, and God bless you. Bye. Bye. Check out the link under the video. You find out what's happening there. All right, God bless you.